Welcome back to Tabletop Titans for our Leagues of Votann book review. We just, of course, are in the middle of the launch day for the Leagues of Votann. We have the preview copy from Games Workshop, so big thanks to them for sending that our way. And we've just played 2 games. We played one with the Leagues of Votann against the Craftworld Eldar, another one against Alpha Legion. We are not going to do a recap per se of those games, but it kind of gives a bit of context. If you haven't seen those, it's interesting to see before we dive into this. But basically, we're going to go through the book. We're going to talk about things that we maybe haven't covered there, highlights, what our general thoughts are, and also, for those of you joining us live, this is a chance to ask any questions. We have the book and the box in hand, and happy to answer any and all questions. And with that, I'm joined, of course, by our in-house dwarf,
Resident Space Dwarf.
Resident Space Dwarf.
NASA
Bridger.
certified.
Yeah.
These gloves would work in space. Although, to be honest, I wouldn't even want to wear these on a cold winter day. They're not very good. But
In any way.
they're perfect for going to space, I guess.
It's kind of what you want in space, just like a fur coat.
Just a fur coat
like
and
these guys.
cool goggles.
They're super
You need
cool.
a fur coat and cool goggles.
Oh yeah.
In space.
It's true. Because on account of the glare.
Right.
And we are also joined, as we wait for him to take a drink, this is Mr. Zach.
Yes,
How you
hi.
doing?
Hi.
Mr. Zach was my father.
So we have an alpha dwarf and a human. We're like a full D&D party.
Yeah.
We are a full D&D party. Cool. Well, welcome in chat. So let's dive on in.
Okay, all right. So, lots to talk about with this book. I've been obsessing over this book since I got it in my hands. I love this book. It's very cool. The leagues, to be honest, they're all pretty good. None of them are like outright bad, which is rare. I think. Wow, turning pages with gloves is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Great Thursday League or the Greater Thurian League.
I'm not letting that one stick.
I think it's a standout. I think Greater Thurian League. I'm taking the gloves. I can't. Gloves have to come off.
That's okay.
That's like the green scheme one, right? One of the main cover art.
No, they're white. They're white. They're actually very
They're
similar.
like white and red.
Oh, that's the orange one.
It's like a red.
Ymir Conglomerate.
Huh.
Sorry, Trans-Hyperion Allegiance is orange.
Oh.
Ymir Conglomerate is red.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Greater
Yeah.
Thurian League is white with a splash of like a navy.
Oh, okay.
blue.
Who are the green guys? I totally have derailed.
Well,
My
Greater
bad.
Thurian League has a different blue as well. Is that what
Right.
you're talking about?
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's like a blue-green, you might say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, yeah.
But they have 2 blues, which makes it a little confusing.
that's weird.
And then one of them is like actually green. Orani Surtur Regulates is like green.
Yeah, it's like hunter green, forest green.
Hunter with no E.
But
And a capital T R.
they're standouts. We haven't talked at all about the named character. He's a high Khal
Carl.
with an extra ability that says all damage allocated to him goes to 1. And is that his only extra ability? Well, he's in relics and stuff. Like
Yeah. What's his warlord trait?
he gets 2,
Oh, that's good.
but most of the warlord traits aren't like insane. He gets the Greater Thurian League warlord trait, which is 5-up CP regen.
Yeah.
Which I think it's cool that the named character has, like, they committed that named character's from that sub faction
Yeah.
and has to take that warlord trait, which is kind of cool. He also gets Ancestral Bearing, which is like Dante's warlord trait. Add 3-inch range to your abilities and auras.
Okay.
So he has a 9-inch. Oh, he has a 9-inch 5-up Invuln aura.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
didn't think about that.
5 up, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then he also has like a 9-inch Chapter Master, a 9-inch Captain.
Right, and he gets gives a second judgment token.
Yes, because he's. Oh, does he?
No,
No, he's.
is he a high call or?
He is a high call, but the Warlord trait is to give a judgment token to a second unit.
Gotcha.
He does not
So he doesn't seem that crazy.
have that.
Yeah.
So far,
He's
sold.
not insane, but he's cheaper than he should be, I think.
Yeah.
Because he's not amazing in combat, but he's pretty good.
Mm.
So think of it this way: you get essentially a 1 CP discount because you get 2 warlord traits in one. And he's basically impossible to kill with 6 wounds at 1 damage each, and then you stack on all the normal nonsense. And then once per round, he turns a hit, wound, or save into a 6. Oh, for any unit within. Okay, that's really good. and it's.
Are you
fact.
reading this for the first time?
No. It's the fact. I thought it was just for him, because most abilities like this.
He gives it to all the units?
No, once per round.
Oh, okay.
Him or a unit within 6 of him can retrospectively turn a hit, wound, or save into a 6.
That's crazy.
And I thought that was good when it was just him.
But it's a mag. You could put that on a Magna rifle.
You could put it on anything. Yeah, you could be like,
That's crazy.
oh, retroactively. Sorry, that thing that was a miss. It was actually a 6, and now it auto wounds as a 6.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. You're dead.
That's crazy.
So you could put that on the Hecaton Land Fortress with its giant Magna rifle.
Right. So it turns off invulns,
'Cause
splashes damage on.
Not even core. It's any greater Thurian League unit
That's crazy.
within 6, which
Okay.
goes to 9 because of his other Warlord.
That's why you take him.
But he's also like impossible to kill. He gives you a discount on a lot of, like, if you wanted to buy all this stuff on a normal high call, it would cost you more.
Yeah, it's
So
cheaper.
he can't teleport. So he has to take the Rampart Crest. That's
fine.
something. No, but he's pretty good. So like, I think Greater Thurian Leagues is a standout. It's probably the best one.
Mm-hmm.
The +1 toughness.
You guys may not be able to hear it at home, but every time Bridger turns the pages, he really gets in there with his fingers
Yeah, I gotta.
and does that like
Gotta get in
that
there.
sound that makes it.
The
don't like that
Urani,
one?
the green guys, Urani, Surtur, Regulates,
Yeah.
are +1 toughness, reroll failed morale.
+1 toughness?
And I think if you want to do Terminator spam, you get them to T6.
Right. When your regular guys go to T5?
The Terminator's T5.
No, but
But the regular guys go to T5, yeah. Which is a big deal.
That's a big break point.
That's
T5 and T6?
That's
It's
kind
really
of
hard to
intense. That's intense,
Right?
and
That's not a
then-
casual
And
tactic.
the reason I think that one might be good is because this army seems like an army that's what you want to. That's what's going to make it really good when it's defensively good.
Right.
Right,
Because it
you
has
can
some fragility to it.
already kill everything.
Kill everything.
Like, Greater
Your
Thurian
basic
League, you don't-
troops, just delete 5 Terminators, like no problem.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Zach.
I mean, no, but that's like
Deal with the times, old man. Okay, your Terminators, thing of the past.
You have the second to last book, which was famously not broken.
yeah.
Like, that's interesting. +1 toughness to me, that speaks to me. Ymir Conglomerate is the shooty faction, I would say. The +4 inch range is big. Because I'm not in love with the Warlord Trait, Relic, and Strat, they have a beam strat that's kind of cool, but I would probably build a custom like this. You can take the +4 inch range from a custom, and then there's a lot of good custom other halves. So when you build a custom, you
That's
get
right.
3 parts. You get,
3 parts.
because you get 2 normal halves of a chapter tactic,
Oh, and you get the Grudgeon part.
and you get the Grudgeon part.
Ah, okay.
And choosing your Grudgeon is a big deal.
Yeah.
One of the Grudgeons is +2 to your charge against the thing with a Grudge token.
Awesome.
It's really good.
Melee.
I don't know. We could talk for a long time. I don't know how much we want to talk about leagues, because there's also a lot of other stuff we want to talk about in this book.
Yeah. There's
Like-
definitely a lot to discuss.
The chapter command, the command upgrades. Got to go back a few pages here.
Yeah.
They're all actually insane.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are bad. I think if you have any of these characters, you will upgrade them.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's just every time. Just upgrade them every time. So your Psyker, who I think he's awesome. Their psychic tree is actually pretty good. This is a faction that's limited by command points because their strats are insane.
Yep.
One of their psychic powers is just gain a command point.
And he casts.
And that command point is outside of the +1 command point per turn.
That's right. That's right.
So it's like a command point on top of all your other ways to get command points.
Amazing.
It's good. He's like a librarian. He's cast 2, deny 1.
Mm-hmm.
But Chief Librarian is an additional deny.
Yeah.
Chief Librarian here is an additional cast. So he goes up to cast 3.
No.
Now he only knows 2 powers, but there's a relic
Yeah.
that lets him do an action and cast powers and know an extra power.
What is it? Cast powers or cast 1 power? Usually cast 1 power.
Yes, cast 1 power.
Right.
But that's like
The cast 3.
so now
doesn't-
he can know 3, cast 3,
Yeah.
or do a psychic action and still cast 1
Amazing.
every turn for free.
Gosh.
That's real good.
Yeah.
The Warlord Trait for him.
Yeah.
+6 inch range to all your spells. Now, that could be good depending on what spells you have, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Could be good.
Take us on the
be
journey
bad.
of the spells. Yeah.
Could be pretty good.
think-
Death Hex. They have Death Hex.
Oh, okay.
So 18 inch Death Hex.
Amazing.
It's pretty.
Why do they have death hex?
He's a good wizard. Why do they have Death
crazy.
Hex? That's a great question. They
What's
already have a lot of ways to deal with Inmolds. Why do they have death
That's
hacks?
so mean.
I don't know. But we gotta give the Forge Master his due. He needs his time in the spotlight.
This is the Sniper Tech Marine guy.
The Tech Marine who has 5 ablative wounds of nonsense
Yep.
in his unit. Can shoot characters for no apparent reason. Heals flat 4 when you upgrade him, and zeroes out damage on a friendly vehicle once per turn.
So like the big transport.
Yeah, the
Just zero
Hecaton
out.
Land Fortress. He also, for no reason that I can discern, refunds 1 CP on the
Wargear strats.
Wargear strats. Yeah,
which is
which
amazing.
like
Is there a range on that?
6 inches. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to position him. Do you know kind of what strat you might want to use that on consistently? 'Cause you want to be able to use it every turn, ideally, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of good Wargear strats. The Transhuman is a Wargear strat.
The Transhuman is a Wargear strat.
Yeah. Overcharged Shield Crest. That's their Transhuman.
That's great.
Concussive Blast, which is anybody with grenades can turn off Overwatch.
Yeah.
And they're -1 to hit for the turn. Ion Storm. The 6 mortal wounds.
Oh, okay.
Ion guns.
There you go.
That's one of them. The teleport thing is one of them. You have turn off auras for a unit. If you have a comms unit, you can just say, hey, that unit
Yeah.
that's within 12 of me doesn't receive auras for this phase.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
I love that too because you
a good
can. You're like jamming them, right?
They're getting jammed.
You can
Multi-wave-
jam an
That's what it's called.
apothecary.
Multi-wave system jamming.
Like, you can't use your
You've
tools.
been jammed. No, it's the other way. You pick a unit that doesn't receive auras.
I know.
You don't jam the apothecary.
No,
You jam the guy next to the apothecary.
Right.
He's like,
So,
I don't know. There's just something between me and you. I can't heal you.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so the Transhuman and the Mortal Wounds, the main ones that I could see them kind of plotting forwards with this guy right behind.
Subterranean Explosives is also the half move.
Right.
Fight last.
With a
also
24-inch
Wargear.
gun.
Yeah. Also Wargear
Yeah.
strat.
Yeah. Although they kind of will be up further up the board a bit more, but still interesting.
Yeah. All these are good.
So he's amazing. Definitely excited to get our hands on him.
He's so good. Yeah. So in terms of like relics and warlord traits, it's a lot of reasonably good stuff. It's not. There's nothing that jumps out as like crazy. You can put some minor relics in squads.
Okay.
So what speaks to me is putting the Hearth Fist, which is a Strength 8 AP3 flat 3 damage Power Fist.
Fist of Balthus.
Putting that in a 20-man of the Warriors, that speaks to me because that's a ton of wounds to get through.
Yeah.
Just an absurd. And you can, as some of the factions ignore, there's a warlord trait to ignore leadership penalties and morale attrition penalties. There's also a strat to just auto pass morale in the move phase, like we said. So I think burying the fist
and do a bunch of other things.
and do a bunch of other things. Yeah. So I think burying the Hearth Fist in 20 man is actually really cool. And if you attack something, so it's Strength 8, AP3, 3 damage. If you attack something with a Judgment token, it goes to 4 damage.
Yeah.
Don't know why. It's already really good. It's already a flat 3 damage fist with no minus to hit.
Right.
So that's cool. But a lot of the stuff is like just minor bonuses here and there. Like, I want this character to be good at this thing, so I'm going to do that.
That's the case with a lot of these. I think if you look at any one of these like strats or whatever, they seem fine. It's just when you look at them in the
As a
sort of
collection.
conglomerate, as a league of abilities,
Yeah.
they really turn into a league of their own. That is kind of leagues beyond many armies.
This guy. I think the the main issue that I have with the way this book was written is they took a lot of things that we're familiar with, and we know that they're okay, they're common, right?
Yeah.
This whole split chapter tactic thing, getting 2 halves of chapter tactic. I don't think any of these jump out as like significantly better than any 2-half chapter tactic ever written, right? But the problem is they then also have Ancestral Judgment on top of that.
They get
all
3
have,
halves.
Right, they have 3 halves. And I know one of them depends on you having Judgment tokens, but you saw how easy it is to put Judgment tokens out. Every opponent's turn, you put out 2 or 3.
Your whole army is just going to have all your squads.
It almost seems silly. It almost seems
You
silly.
just put them out.
It's just
It's
bake
too
that
much.
into
Kind of whatever you feel like.
Yeah,
And the counting as 1 more for Greater Thurian League
that's crazy.
is actually nuts.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Like, Guard has 6s to hit auto wound. If Guard had 5s to hit auto wound, they might be a real faction.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that bumps you up a lot. It doubles your output because cutting an entire. I guess one of the themes of this book is you don't roll as many dice as anybody else,
Yeah.
and not in the bad way.
Right.
You
Things
just
just
like
happen.
skip some steps.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to roll to advance. I don't get the best advance. I get a 3-inch advance, but I know I have a 3-inch advance, and that's reliable. I never roll for it.
Yep.
I never rolled a wound.
Yep.
That's a little too good.
It's a little too good.
That's a
You're
little too
skipping this whole aspect of the game. Many aspects of the game.
Look, if we're talking about that, I have a question for the two of you, right? We have, has a 40K community. We've often in the past, like, something's come out and we've said, oh, it's too good or it's broken.
Yeah.
So here's the question. In recent memory, when has the community been right and when has the community been wrong?
Right.
And it's a spectrum. Like, it's not black
Yeah.
and white. Oh, they were 100% wrong, 100% right.
Right. Well,
What recent panics ended up not being that true or...
let's see.
We're getting-
CSM was nothing.
yeah.
But people
no,
thought that Abaddon was crazy. People
That is
thought
true.
Abaddon was too
People
good.
were losing their minds over Abaddon, and in my opinion,
In
at
the
least, it was
context
pretty
of the
clear
rest
from
of the book,
beginning
he's
that
fine.
He turned out to be fine.
It's
was
in the
fine.
context of the rest of the book, exactly. And this might be a thing in the context of their slow movement and their kind of whatever secondaries. Maybe it's fine.
I guess what has surprised us, one thing I would just toss before I do want to hear an answer from the two of you, but one thing that I think has surprised a bunch of us is, speaking of the CSM book, is we thought maybe there were a couple books, the CSM and what came right before it? Not Tau.
Wasn't it Nids and Tau?
CSM.
Oh, maybe.
Knights and
Oh, the Knights.
Knights and Chaos Knights?
Knights and Chaos Knights.
Yeah, there were some books that felt like things were toning down
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
And then even demons don't seem too crazy, right? I know
Yeah.
that they have different mechanics,
Right.
but then
Yeah.
this just seems like it was.
Yes. Things
Yeah.
were simplifying,
Yeah.
becoming more controlled. So like CSM book, I think is kind of lauded as this example of restraint and cohesive design. You know,
Yeah.
they don't even have like super doctrines and stuff.
Right.
They simplify things.
Chaos Knights too, I think, right?
Chaos Knights.
They're not too bad.
Both those books,
They're funky also. The Imperial Knights book is just a little
Imperial
funky.
Knights, we thought wouldn't be that good until we kind of learned how powerful their secondaries can be. So that's kind of a complexity thing. But the CSM has all this restraint, which this book kind of frankly shows none of. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It's like a yes and thing. It's like it's good for improv. It's not good for like game design. You know?
Right.
Especially in the context of it seemed like things were starting to simplify, and this is just like
There's
it feels
just
like
so
we're
many layers.
returning. Like
And the layers aren't even necessarily complicated. Like this
No,
is a
they're
book
not.
that you can digest. It was kind of a lot for me to learn to play once, but like it wasn't that many units.
Yep.
And a lot of the rules are just like, here's an incremental
Yep.
bonus. Like
Yep.
rerolls. You just get full rerolls. Or you're -1 to wound.
Exactly.
And to be honest, with an army like this, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's so overtuned, you can afford to forget a lot of that stuff.
And
you'll
just
be
something
okay.
fine, yeah.
The ceiling,
be all
the
right.
floor is very, very high.
Yeah.
You just walk in with these data sheets and these abilities. It's crazy.
I will
strong.
also say this, based on our experiences today.
Yeah.
I don't feel like my 650 point Alpha Legion list could do much. And this list, and I think your list, had a little more play. So, like, I don't know, like, I
It was a weird game. It was a
weird
650 point game.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
I
yeah.
think
Yeah.
we're going to have to wait and see when more boxes come out, like when the rest of the units come out.
So what I was going to say though is when you have your basic troops in a small game and you're going to take 2 units of them,
Right.
and they can delete anything, that's really powerful.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's always going to be powerful,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but at a small game where like my Legionnaires can't do that.
No.
My Terminators can't do that. They need a couple rounds to get things done,
Yeah.
and they need a couple phases to get things done. These guys just walk out, take 1 phase
Yeah.
to do their thing.
Well, it reminds me a lot of Release AdMech, where there's just an overtuned Mortal Wound strat. And if this goes up to 2 CP or 3 CP for a big squad, they'll still be really good. That's
Yeah.
the problem, is that you at that point, I might go back to Bolters. Maybe, I don't know, Ions are so cheap. At one point,
I like the Ions a lot, regardless of the mortals.
they're so cheap.
I think they're a really great profile.
It's a good gun.
Yeah, I think this book is, if it does turn out to be a problem, which is possible, it's very fixable. points, couple strat changes, maybe increases, and frankly, I think
The tokens
The
shouldn't
tokens
make
should-
you sixes. It shouldn't count as sixes to win.
I mean that alone would probably be
It fixes a lot of stuff.
fix a
Like
lot.
Magna weapons go back to just being reasonable.
Yeah.
Like they come way
Like,
back
is it
down.
going to be a 6? Like truly a 6 after the hit roll? That would be interesting.
The ion strat immediately not a problem anymore.
Yeah.
Because now it's actually like if you have
It's like
to roll
every other
sixes,
strat in the game.
It's like every other
And
exactly.
you don't get that many shots.
But like
Yeah.
when you have a one-shot weapon, that used to be terrible. But when you now have a one-shot weapon where damage carries over, you ignore invulns, it can be AP 5.
Yeah.
And you just need to roll a 4-up.
Yeah.
On 2d3 plus 6 damage.
Yeah.
That carries over and ignores invulns.
It just ignores too much of the game, right?
Literally all you need, because it's a one-shot weapon,
Yeah.
is be Greater Thurian League and you get your 1 reroll.
Yep.
Can you roll 4-up on 2 dice?
It's so crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 75% chance of just,
Deleting a unit.
and that's it.
And it has other guns that are also good.
Yeah.
And it's invincible.
The
Yeah.
2-up.
It's a 2-up armor with ignore the first AP. It's T8, 16 wounds. It has the accelerated keyword, so you can advance it 22 inches. 22 inches. I don't know why you would want to, but just in case you felt like it.
Yeah.
It does have heavy weapons, you know.
Just in case you need to be anywhere and not worry about any consequences as a result of being there. That's why.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Sarasco brought up, I think, the biggest example, I think, of the community misjudging something, which I don't know if it's relevant anymore, kind of moved on the conversation, but I did want to mention, was the Custodies, of course.
Yeah.
Was, if we remember before LVO, everyone opened up the book, they said, this looks really weak.
Yeah.
And then Art of War cracked the book, and then everyone was like, this book is busted.
Yeah.
And we, frankly, were one of the people that didn't think it was going to be, anyways. So there's lots to be kind of figured out.
But it's like, the Custodies book is like in a good spot now, right? It's like, people think that's a
Nah.
good, like, no? Little good minus?
Pretty bad.
I don't,
No?
it's maybe B tier.
They kicked it while it was down. I think was the problem. Was they fixed the problem with it. The problem with that book was you could stack too many buffs on one really good unit.
Yep.
And they said, nope, you can't do that anymore. And then also you don't have OPSEC.
I think a book that's it's a more comparable, hopefully, for this where this book might end up, is the Tau book.
Yeah.
Because the Tau book hasn't had amazing secondaries,
Yep.
relied on just wiping it off the board. The main difference is it didn't have the mobility of this, but they did have to do major points adjustments and major game, ability changes. But it's landed in a position where, frankly, a lot of the best Tau lists look like regular Tau lists, and they still do well.
No, Tower, good. It's hard to make a bad list. It's easy to make a good list.
Yeah. So hopefully we can end up with something like that for this.
The thing that makes me happiest about this book is also the thing that worries me the most.
Yeah.
Which is there's so many valid ways to play it,
Which is great.
which I love.
It's awesome.
That's a
It
good
also
yeah.
means that if it is significantly overtuned, it's going to be a lot of moles to whack to get it back in line. And I think it'll take them several steps of like, well, we fixed the ion thing, but we didn't even know Chthonian Berserkers were nuts.
It's the Drakari problem.
Right. It's a Drakari problem. Exactly. It'll take them maybe 3 updates to fix this, if this is a problem. Because honestly, there's one bad unit in the whole book.
Oh.
And it's the Brokir Thunderkin.
What's that?
And they're not even bad.
Oh, it's the cool guys in the...
It's the Centevs. Yeah. They have Centevs with giant guns.
So cool.
They look cool.
Right?
They are cool. And I say that they're a bad unit, but they're also the core unit on the beam strip. If you want to go beam, this is your unit.
Mm-hmm.
Because you give each of them
Can I see? I want to see
a
that picture.
sea beamer. You give each of them a sea beamer,
Yeah.
and it's like a 1,000,000 range. And if you're over half away, you get 2 shots instead of 1.
That's cool.
So you beam everything in a line.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, without focusing too much on the problem aspects of the book, which definitely do exist there, it's interesting. Other things you want to highlight about it?
So cool. It's really cool that they came up with a new army that has new, like, all new abilities, things we've never seen before.
Yes.
The new model line I like.
Yeah.
I like that they pulled old stuff and mixed it with new stuff.
Yeah.
It's just going to take some tuning.
I think it's got dare I say it, good bones.
It's got good bones.
And it might take a little bit more sculpting, but we'll get there together.
People were trying to figure out how they would give it a new gameplay identity. And I think people just don't give credit to how much design space there is in 40K.
Currently.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, there's just so many things that they could do.
I know.
And they're very unique. No other army plays like this.
Yeah, 100%. You mean it's not just Marines?
It's definitely not just Marines.
How many times I've heard that based off of no evidence.
But like, the things that these have for Marines are things that everybody has. Like, they have captains.
Right, yeah.
They have lieutenants. They have ciphers.
Basically just Marines.
It's like, okay. Just because the weapon has a similar name doesn't mean it's the same weapon, right? A guardsman with a bolter is not a custodian with a bolter.
A sister with a bolter.
They're just not the same.
No, totally. Well, of course, we do have, hey,
Definitely not squats, just as a heads up.
Leagues of Votann.
We had it come to this one. I should have mentioned.
Yeah, no worries. That's okay.
Well,
Definitely
Zach,
not squats.
do we have another segment here? Do we have another...
Yeah, Zach.
Well, we do actually have a little meme of the week. We should.
Meme
do.
of the week.
Meme of the week. Thank you so much for your
We did a
memes
little meme of the
during the
week, yeah.
weeks. Let's check it out.
We typically don't do meme of the week during Good Talk, but
Well, that's not good talk. So there you go.
that's true.
He got you there.
I
It's a
did.
book review, Zach.
John, this joke came up again today.
Yeah.
It did?
John didn't know that las cannons were based off of the word laser.
Yeah.
Can you believe that guy?
I don't know.
Michael Cody has a couple times in the past week. He sent these messages like this in this style that is the style of the bot we sometimes
Yeah.
get. On Hobby Titans the other night, I was like, oh, Michael Cody. I was like, I reached for the mouse. I was like,
So we were getting those today from your wife, from Meg,
She was
and
doing
also
fake-
from Melody. But they were grudging ones.
Oh, it's
No.
They were
Okay.
about grudgeons. And I was like,
Oh, we got one right there.
there they are. There they are. Grudgings coming in hot in your area.
area live.
Yeah, it was pretty much that the whole game while you guys were trying
I
to play.
love it.
It's so gorgeous.
I'm into it, actually.
Grudging.
Oh my god. Okay, then
Wow,
a
these
number
are
of
amazing.
magic cards were created.
This is going to be hard to read from here, Zach. I don't think we can read it, but chat can read it.
You guys can read it here. I want to, because these are so good.
They're so good.
So the John one we couldn't find. I don't know if it's actually been made yet, but these were magic cards by a community member. I think it was, I don't know.
do you know, Zach?
I think it was
Do you know
Dead
who-
Beaver, but that's
Oh, that sounds right. No, that sounds right.
Dead Beaver?
Dead
Okay.
Beaver.
Yeah.
So this is Adrian, Enthusiastic Titan. Number 3. It says green-blue, but it should be blue-green. A legendary creature, human wizard. I'm a 3/4, which adds up to 7.
It should be blue-green. You're right.
Yeah,
They're always in Wooburg order. That's wrong.
it should be blue-green. I have the prowess and trample keyword. When Adrian, Enthusiastic Titan, enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. I like that. He's got 2 special abilities. Perils of the Warp. If Adrian, Enthusiastic Titan, becomes blocked by 2 creatures with total power of toughness 2 or 12, so if you're rolling perils, sacrifice Adrian, Enthusiastic Titan. Like, this is not a good ability. I love it.
It's just bad. It's just purely bad.
It's just a negative.
and it's easy to do too, right? You just like 2 creatures with toughness 1.
Yeah, exactly. And then his other ability is Vallejo Blue Green. It costs a blue and a green. Tap it, or no, you just pay it. Target permanent becomes blue-green until end of turn.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's amazing. Amazing.
Oh my gosh. My favorite thing about Brian one is the way it's human deserter.
It's so good. And he's blue-black, like, of course.
Yeah.
Of course he is. When he comes to the battlefield, he can create camera artifact tokens. And you can keep creating them by tapping him and paying blue-black. Special ability, 4K stream. Costs blue and black. Sacrifice 4 camera tokens. Restart the game with Brian Titan Mastermind in play. Your opponents then discard their hands. And he's a 2/5, which adds up to 7.
Oh my gosh.
Bridger, the Impulsive Titan, of course, an all-red card. Human Barbarian, oh god.
Human barbarian. Yep.
First strike,
Yeah.
trample. Bridger, Impulsive Titan, must attack each turn if able.
Of course.
Appropriate. And special ability, Taco Bell Break, costs 1 red. Now you can. This is like a true like Fire Breath ability. You can just stack it.
Oh,
1
wow.
red. Bridger, Impulsive Titan deals 1 damage to any target and 1 damage to himself.
Oh, he's only got 2 toughness 2 though.
Yeah.
But now, Zach, I can just hold priority and put a bunch of those on the stack. That's
This is true.
good gameplay.
Yeah, yeah.
I would like to say
Yeah.
I should have haste, not trample.
Haste, not trample.
Give me in there.
Yeah,
turn
probably
one.
haste. That's
I would charge turn 1 every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Zach Hobby Titan, an artifact creature. I love it. Not legendary though. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, we can have multiple Zacks.
There's lots of Zacks
We can have a
available.
bunch of Zacks.
Strength, toughness is star. Zach, Hobby Titan's prowess and toughness are equal to the number of artifacts you control. And pay 1 of anything. Create a 0/1 colorless tree artifact token,
You like
not
trees.
brown.
Yeah.
And special ability, Hot Take, you pay X, sacrifice X trees. Zach, Hobby Titan deals X damage to each creature of a color of your choice. They can't be... This is a really good
This
ability.
is actually real. My card is
regenerated.
solidly the best
This
card.
is an amazing card.
I
Especially
don't know. Brian's card was pretty good.
Oh, that's
Brian's card was a win condition.
restart the game.
When you
window.
start the game and you get Brian. This is amazing.
Now, the best part about this deck, I think the reason you're not legendary
Yeah.
is because that was like an old card before they had legends.
Oh, I
And
see.
your trees that aren't brown are brown because artifacts back then were brown.
That's
Oh, that
amazing.
was like
So your trees that aren't brown are actually brown.
That's why he's got the old
that's
artifact
The thing. That's the cute
coloring.
one. Okay.
It's so good. Now I know there is John the Fiend. I don't know where
We
it
can't
is
find it.
currently. So check it out. It's on the Discord somewhere.
Look, just read the whole Discord. You'll find it.
It's amazing. Now we do have some super chats.
We
If you
do.
guys have any questions about Votann, still feel free to send them in. Let's do this thing.
Okay, let's see. Where did we wrap up?
So I put a little Adrian emoji this time.
Oh,
You might have to scroll up, not down.
yeah, here we go. Let's scroll
boy.
up. There
There
he
we
is. Okay. Thank you, Sinlord. Hey, Titans, after one game of the T6, I lost. I bet on the Fiend and his sisters. So well played, Adrian. After I played the new demons, I would like to have a demons save for Magnus and Mortarion.
Oh,
Right?
that's
Kind
an
of makes
interesting idea.
sense.
Yeah, people were really rooting for the Venom Crawler to have one in this game. He did not.
Yeah,
So that I could not ignore your info.
It's a demon save.
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I think the argument can be made though that it is not a full demon.
Yeah.
You know, they're all demon engines or Primarchs that were originally corporeal.
Cool idea, though.
But it is cool.
I like the idea. That's fun.
Could be cool.
Thank you, Pigeon Wing. Bridger, how do I beat 220 blobs of Necron Warriors in a 1K game playing Custodes?
Wow.
My friend keeps wrecking
Wow.
me. That's not...
I wouldn't use the word friend.
Yeah, that's not a friend. That's
Wow.
like not...
Who does that?
No.
Going to
they
be
should...
difficult.
Honestly, at 1,000 points, they'd be cool if they took 3 10-man squads. But 2 20-man squads is just just mean.
That's not even friendly at 2K.
It's mean. It's mean against any army, even. It's mean against like an army. Yeah.
I don't. So the problem is, to kill a 20-man efficiently, you want to get through all of them in one go so they don't reanimate. Right?
Sure.
Right. Even
Custodians
410.
can't
Yeah.
do that. You would
Hurricane
need
bolters?
30 wounds to go through
30
because they have 5 of Inwalm.
Sure, yeah. Probably.
So you need 30 wounds, which means you needed like 40 shots with whatever you're doing.
Hurricane bolters.
But then they get better than a 5. Then they get a 4-up. So you need.
Wait, 30 wounds, you need 40 shots?
Well, if,
No, you
if
likely
you're giving
need-
them 4-up saves, you need more than 30 wounds. You only need 30 wounds because they have a 5-up Inwalm.
Right.
But
So
if they get a 4-up save because you have a Hurricane Bolter,
right.
then you need 40 wounds, which means you need like 40 something. Maybe
no.
Hurricane Bolters are the answer.
You can do hurricane bolters, but with AP. If you pick
Dread Host.
Dread Host and half
Dread.
range.
Yeah, Dread Host. Yeah.
So you do Dread Host. So it's 35, but you're wounding on 4, so you need 70 shots. Plus you're hitting on 2s.
I mean, you could just
70
take
shots?
like 6 bikes,
Yeah,
and then you have 72 shots.
honestly.
But that's 6 bikes is over half your army.
This guy has 2 blobs of 20.
This guy's a jerk, to be honest.
I think like you should ask your friend if he can even just configure him differently. Like
Yeah.
4 blobs of 10 even is.
Yeah.
Much more manageable. You
Yeah.
put a Galatis Dread and a little bit of chip shooting in, he'll pick
Yeah.
up 10.
This has the escalation problem, right? It's just like you guys are both in a cold war that's not cold at all, and you have to keep escalating to like one shot each other.
Yeah. They've gone too far. This is a step too far.
Thank you, Caldorf. You see how the calls proceeds?
Ah.
Epic stream for this cool release. As a dwarf, I approve with no grudges. Can't wait to catch the second match. Brian podcast, Codex reviews when?
That would be funny, actually. Yeah, look, we did play second game.
It was quick. We kept it quick for you guys.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you know, the first game ran a little longer than we expected, so
Yeah.
we needed to really get the second
Even it
game
up.
over with.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So, appreciate it, Caldorf, as always. Thank you.
Thank you, Tech Goblin. I'm flabbergasted you finished a 650-ish point game with units at both sides. Amazing debut for space dwarves. Well, he might not have seen the second game.
well, okay, but the fact that the first game ended with units on the table for both players is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was
Most-
really happy, yeah.
Yeah, even sub 1500 games are just kill fest.
Everything just dies, yeah. No,
It was great.
it was a really good balance, which it's hard to do. It's really hard to do, especially like you need certain armies into certain armies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Goose. I think you said this one already, Adrian, but we...
No, Goose. I need to go get gooses.
Oh. What's up,
Okay.
Goose?
I have it collected, but I left it on the other computer.
Okay,
Get
okay.
it.
We'll read out John McCardle's real quick here. Thank you, John McCardle.
Whoa.
Congrats on hitting 95,000 subs. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, John.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very kind. Wow.
Yeah, and
guy.
we're getting close to 100K. We're really excited.
Dude, John's going to eat our play button. When you hit 100K, Google sends you a play button. John's going to eat it.
Yeah. Did
you
he?
know that?
No.
John's going to eat our play button.
I feel bad for John.
Having to eat a play button?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we didn't say how long he would spend eating it. Maybe he'll take a bite a day for the rest of his life.
That might be worse. Okay. Thank you, Castellan. I'm going to come back to Road Squadrons here in a second. Thank you, Castellan. Bridger, loving the beard. And finally, you had the time to grow it. It now looks good. You are ready to rock and tear this evening.
I am ready, and this is the best I will ever look with any facial hair.
It's actually more disturbing the way you have it now, because it's like
Is it scrunched up under
it's
that?
kind of like cat-like in a way.
Yeah, like one of those like kind of old grumpy cats.
Is that better?
Cat-like. No, it's worse.
Oh no!
Are you okay? Did you get stung by a bee? You look kind of
dying.
swollen. So, thank you, Goose.
What's up, Goose?
Tabletop Titans, as an IG Armored Company player and a Imperial Knights player, I'm scared everything is going... I'm scared. I think that's...
That's it.
Fair.
I'm scared everything is going to kill me on 4+ by turn 2, maybe turn 3 if I'm lucky. Well, that's certainly true for the Knights, unfortunately. They are just so killy at anything that's visible. If you play Knights with lots of Armigers, as is kind of the way to play them right now, it'll be a little bit better, but not by much, right? For the Guard, I think... Oh, Armored Company.
You're gonna be like just like
I was like,
put
well,
up
you
little 10-minute
trading
squads.
guardsmen,
Yeah,
and you do have a lot of powerful out of line of sight shooting,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that the Manticore or the Wyvern is actually, Manticore is terrible against Votann, because they don't have. I mean, I can't reroll to wound against them.
It's rank 10 though.
So I'm thinking of tons of shots.
But straight 10 against Votann is a good breakpoint because they can get T5 pretty readily across the
Yeah.
army.
True.
There's a whole faction where they're T5 base.
Yeah.
So the strength 10 is good. AP2 going to AP1 takes them to a 5-up, which is like actually good.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get blast
Mm-hmm.
because they're 10s and 20s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think Guard might, funny enough, have a decent matchup into Votann because both of them have cheap, shooty units that will trade roughly equivalently. Now, Votann has more rules layered behind them, so I
Yeah.
may come to regret saying that might be a good matchup.
Mm.
But I think it's worth a shot. Like, Guardsmen would not struggle to kill Votann. Like, Guardsmen shooting
Correct.
these warriors,
Correct.
you just roll a lot of shots and make them make 4-ups, and that's it.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And with an Astropath, you can take away their cover, so they're just 4-ups.
I feel way better about Guard in this matchup than Knights.
Yeah, Knights. Whew. There's a Magna Rail stuffed in every squad. And knights aren't going to have the easiest time getting through 10 bodies where the first one, like with a 5 of Invuln, and the first failed save you ignore. Like, they just don't have the way to fire to get consistently through these 10-man squads. And if one guy's left, it's the medic, and then he gets the 2 special weapons and the Carl back.
It's pretty brutal, man.
It's going to be tough. And they auto-wound your T8. Who cares? We're auto-wounding.
I mean, Imperial Knights at least survived the Great Apocalypse that was the Hammerhead release. But this is like that plus a bunch of other stuff that's also really good against them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Tau didn't auto-wound Knights. They still had to roll.
Yeah. And there was like only 3 of those guns.
Right. Here, they're everywhere. You'll have 3 big ones. Bigger than the Tau gun. It's 2d3 plus 6.
Why didn't they just make it 10 damage? Just make it 10 damage.
Just make it 10.
Why are you pretending?
Well, because then that would always kill 5 intercessors. With 1 shot. That's so dumb.
This army metaphorically is killing them
5
already.
intercessors. You know, in Counter-Strike, you can get an op double headshot if you're like crazy lucky.
Yeah.
This was like 5 people lined up and you just shot through all of them.
It's so crazy. Oh, what is this army?
Good luck, dude.
Yeah.
I would lean towards playing guard in that matchup.
Hang in there, Goose.
Thank you, Rogue Squadron trainee. Now that the Votann are out, when will we see the battle of 5 space armies on the channel? Imperium, Eldar, and Votann versus the entirety of Adrian's orc collection.
Yes! Let's do it!
That's pretty good. I like that.
That'd be awesome.
Thank you, Rogue Squadron trainee.
Thank
Obviously,
you.
we're not going to commit to that quite yet. And thank you, Crusader Kerbo. Hey, Titans, it's been a while with this year being rough. Listening to the games while on an 8-hour drive home.
Oh.
For NIDS, what would you bring besides Malceptors for mortal wounds against Votann?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, how NIDS looking against Votann?
Pretty good. They're probably the toughest matchup, actually.
Because they have they have mass shots, and they have mortal wounds. And those are the 2 things you need against Votann.
Exactly.
And they're faster.
Yep.
I think it's pretty good for them.
Your Harpies with the Spore Mine mortal wounds will be absolutely devastating for them. They also have fast units, so you can move block Votann, just keep them in their deployment zone.
Yep.
Neurothropes, obviously, chucking out a lot of mortal wounds.
Like gargoyles?
And
Just like
Neurothropes.
gargoyles, huh? Just like get in there early, just like
Yeah.
clog it
Just
up.
get in their way.
Yeah, just run up there.
And even the terrible gargoyle gun is not bad.
Because
against
you're just making
Votann.
it's
You're just making them
fours.
make 4-ups.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing.
Yeah, it's good.
Like your swooping hawks are
Strength
the most
5.
effective unit in your whole army.
They were great. That
And
was
they
surprising.
just shoot a lot of garbage shots.
Yeah. No, I think NIDS is actually the toughest matchup for Votann in the game.
I do think Tau will do okay against them. I think.
Yeah?
I think so because
We'll have to try it.
yeah, because it's like the jump shoot jump thing was so good, right?
Yes.
Tau have that. They
Like
also have
KG.
ways to just pop up somewhere and put like a ton of stealth shots. Like I think they can do it also.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Any KG army, I think, has a chance.
Yes. It's
Like,
all KG.
I think Venom Spam Drukari would be good against. Like,
Venom Span would be good.
I have nothing in the army I'm proposing. I have nothing that cares about Magnum Rails. You can pick it up. I don't care.
Yeah.
I have nothing that cares about your auto winding. I'm T3 with garbage saves anyway. I'm just going to try to outnumber you on points and chip away at you with poison. And then come in with a couple of character hammers that you can't snipe out because you don't have character sniping.
Mm-hmm. That are melee based.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting. And I want to play Harlequins into them and see. Because when you see me, I'm dead. But that's kind of always been the case. So
Right.
I'm really curious. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to be cool.
Thank you, Hazard Brewing. Just got home and watching this from the beginning now. No spoilers, but here, take some memberships. Thank you,
Dude.
Hazard Brewing. We appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick M. Hi, Titans. Greetings from Rhode Island. Do grudge tokens do anything for Overwatch? And do they have any flame-type weapons? Just wondering for versus my bugs.
Great questions.
They do work in Overwatch, but you still have to hit. I don't think there's a single flamer in this book.
Right? Interesting.
Which it didn't come to mind. but, like,
Uncivilized.
I don't think anything auto hits.
That'd be good if it did with all their auto wounding.
Yeah. They auto hit and they count as being sixes.
Yeah, no, they have 0 flamers in the entire book. That's weird.
That is very weird. That's very interesting.
Huh.
Good for them.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They're moving past it.
Yeah.
Dwarves, which is funny because dwarves in like fantasy had all kinds of flamers.
Really?
In fantasy.
Oh, like the bellows.
No, they had guns and flamers and stuff.
Guns aren't flamers.
No, but they had flame. They had flamers. Yeah.
Oh.
The cities ones now.
You
yeah.
played Total War 2
Yeah.
as dwarves.
That's true.
There's one of the factions you start with a bunch of flamers.
Yeah, they're like Drake guys or something. I forget the name.
Yes. And kiddo, no, dwarves don't hate fire. Fire slayers, bro. Dwarves love fire.
This is a good one. Thank you, Michael Cody. On a scale from Nurgle punching a puppy to a Tau picnic, how grimdark are Votann?
The funny thing, they're not really grimdark.
Yeah, they're close to a Tau picnic.
Puppy and a Tau picnic.
They're a little dour for that. I wouldn't describe them as puppies. Maybe grumpy, like pugs. They're pugs.
A pug? I think it's a pug at a corporate mandated picnic.
Yeah, a pug at a company picnic.
They're grimdark in like an office space kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Cody asking the real questions here.
Like you're not gonna die, but your soul will die.
Yeah.
They have some of the least grimdark lore I've seen yet. And maybe that was the thing I was struggling to describe.
Yeah.
Was like it kind of doesn't fit.
Yeah, they're just people.
They're right. They're
Which
just
is kind of nice.
They're
Yeah,
just
I like
space
it. I'm into it.
traders.
I think we need more of that.
I think we need more Ironkin.
Oh, yes, Ironkin.
That's how I feel.
Ironkin are
The robots.
The dome guy.
the robots. Yeah,
They're just
Ironkin are cool.
people. They're just robots
Yeah,
and people too, Zach.
I like this. One thing I like about it is one of my favorite parts about the Heresy. I think they got wiped out. I don't know if they ever fully acknowledged what happens to the Interx, right? Like the Interx are super cool.
Yeah.
Conceptually, I like that idea. This is like, it's interesting to see because when the Imperium encountered the Interx, they like went under this nut job crusade to try to exterminate them.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, these guys like the Imperium is like really behind in what they used to be able to do because they can not get rid. Certainly, they're not gonna be able to get rid of these guys on the tabletop in individual battles. But like in general, it's like, oh yeah, here's some subhuman, whatever they call them, right? I mean, that's what they are.
They
We're
do.
past that.
They call them that.
They call them that.
Zach's
right?
not calling them that.
I'm not calling them that.
Yeah, it's definitely the like Muppet meme of like the guy that's like, you like sees, you're like looking side glance because they know the Imperium would absolutely love to devastate these guys. I think for me, a lot of the 40K lore, the background is successful despite the overwhelming grimdark. I think it's too much, and it would really serve itself well by actually having more of like just humans living there and more like pre-heresy kind of vibes. It's just like the same thing like fantasy where it's like you only care about Lord of the Rings because you see how the Shire is and you see how everything is before war comes to it. It's like imagine how you're halfway there and like why do I care? Everything's already horrible.
There's
anyways.
stakes in your world.
There's
building.
stakes,
Yeah.
you know. I want to see more of that in all of these games, frankly.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Thank you, the Claven. I thought Fall Back in Charge would do some work. Do you think the Alpha Legion were too good at killing the bikes and that didn't allow them to spring forth in the same way? Well, look, honestly, possibly, right? Like, I think that, honestly, that's a mechanism that's not new to me, but not an army, not something like I'm super teched into right now, is how to go into a fight, not win, but not die, and then use it as a springboard up the board.
Yeah.
It's not a thing I've had a lot of practice with, so it's a fair point.
It was a
Claven.
very difficult finesse situation
Yeah.
that was not easy to solve.
The other reality is that Bridger's a good player. Like he knew it's good. Your guns are good range. He knew he didn't have to really come up like turn one much. He came up a
I
little.
pretty much just stood at my maximum range the whole game.
Right.
Except the bikes where I was like, maybe I could kill this guy.
And it's tough. Like it's tough when we next Saturday when we do Tau Harlequins, we have to be careful as well, right? Because you can really quickly have something just like in these style matchups go one way or the other.
Right.
If the shooting army can't see them at all, then it's like, well, I'm definitely going to lose. But the shooting army can see them too much, then the charging army is going to lose, right? So,
yeah, and you were in this difficult position of like there was coverage, but again, frankly, Bridger was in a good spot where it was like you could turn off one unit of shooting. You could have it so you only get shot from one unit.
But
one
that's all
unit
he
was
needs.
generally
That's
enough
all
here.
and that's all he needs.
Yeah.
right.
I just split in a way that you couldn't hide.
Yeah.
And that the thing I was trying to do was go up with the Terminators and maybe take that squad down like way more than I thought I did,
Right.
which was one. And then then you'd pick the guys over here up, the Terminators would come around. So I had something
I
planned
wanted
out.
to see you make the 11.
Making the 11 also would have been
that would have been huge.
That would have been
We would've
huge.
had a
Yeah.
game.
Oh my gosh.
You would have been stuck in.
Yeah, and
Man.
maybe I should have forward operatived the Terminators in hindsight.
Get them in sooner.
Yeah. But slow melee army versus slow shooting army, advantage slow shooting
You know
army.
what's funny, Zach? Cover would have been a big deal, but I think in the real world, when you see Votann out there, I forget if it's scanner or comms. I think it's scanner. Just ignores cover.
They also have ignores cover.
Yeah,
You
they
just
just-
5 points.
it's like
per
an Omni
squad.
specs.
You just
Yeah.
ignore cover.
Yeah.
Every squad. It's so good.
Thank you, T. Louis, too. Best part of this release is it gets us one step closer to Imperial Guard book day and spoilers.
Yes.
Ooh, it's coming.
Guard,
It's
let's
coming.
go.
It's coming.
They invented a whole new codex before releasing yours.
I mean, it's going to happen, right? Like, yeah, I know.
I would be furious.
Thank you, Louis. And thank you, Borans. Hey, Titans. Buarns. Are the Hearthkin a full kit with all variation? Or is it a more limited kit with fewer options? How many full helmets are there? Thanks.
Lots of questions about full helmets.
I forgot to talk about the kits.
Oh yeah.
I didn't talk about the kits at all. So GW has moved, and you can see this over the years, they're moving more towards monopose kits with options on that monopose.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's the guy with his wrist thing, and
That's
he's
the
got
best
his
guy.
wrist thing open, and he's boop 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 boop, and the head looks at it, and the arm is touching it.
But
So
one of
there-
the options was also a giant sub that he was eating. We just didn't use that one.
Like a sandwich.
Like a giant sausage sandwich with sauerkraut on it.
they're moving to dynamic models that tell a story, like they're posed.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, they make it so that everything locks together in a very specific way. You can't build it wrong, but they are very monopose. If you liked like 5th edition where you could have your guys posed however you wanted, it's really hard to do that now with these kits. But I like the way they look. I think there are enough options to make it feel varied. So there's a lot of backpacks. There are a full set of helmets. There's a full set of heads. And there's a couple of Ironkin. And I wish that there were more Ironkin because I like Ironkin and I want more. But they give you the variation. They give you the options. The backpacks all mean something. This is something I wish they had done a little bit differently. It's a brand new army with guns we've never seen before. You and I know what a heavy bolter is. When you see it, you're like, that's a heavy bolter, heavy flamer, multi-melta, las cannon. All these things we can point at and be like, I know exactly what that is. Plasma, grav. This faction has all new guns. I didn't know what anything was. And I ended up building one of the guys with the wrong gun because I didn't know what an ion blaster versus the plasma beamer versus I knew what the rail rifle was. And I knew what the missile launcher was. Oh, dude, their missile launchers look so cool.
They have missile launchers?
They do, and they're just better than Imperial missile launchers. But actually, both of you have seen the rail side conversion where you have a rail gun and the missiles on the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's their missile launcher.
Oh.
It's a big gun
What?
with missiles on the end that shoot out. It's very cool.
That's cool.
But they didn't label anywhere in the instructions, the building instructions, what anything meant.
That's
and
weird.
the backpacks mean something, and the guns mean something in the game.
Right.
Because the backpacks are comms, medic, and scanner.
Yeah.
Or on the bikes, the backpacks tell you searchlights, comms, scanner. And all the guns are different, and they could have done a better job on that.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
I do like that you can't build the models wrong. They're very dynamically posed. They look good. I'm happy with them.
Enough full helmets to
Yeah.
do all
Yes.
full helmets.
Yeah,
exactly.
We had almost all full helmets. The ones that we didn't were by choice.
With the cows.
the calls.
Or no, the Thanes.
Thanes.
The
Yeah, you would
Thanes
call them
were-
calls the whole time.
Well, Khal is he's my chapter master. Khal.
Yeah.
Hi, Khal.
Yeah.
Khal.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool kit.
Yeah. Thank you, sponsored by Water. Good afternoon, Titans. You guys always create great content.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Do you think Votann should have to roll the judgment tokens gained from the actions?
That'd be another interesting way of doing it.
This would be it
It's-
slow things down, or I don't know. It's a lot.
It's tough because it's sort of on a knife's edge of like everything I can see, I can get a bunch of judgment tokens on and kill.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only the stuff I can see. Most of the ways I get judgment tokens out are things that I can see when I do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important that there is a way to get judgment tokens on things that you can't see, but your opponent controls that. So it's kind of a trade-off of like, you choose how I get judgment tokens on things I can't see.
Right.
Which allows me to then play 9th edition of like, things aren't just standing out in the open for me to blast.
Yeah.
I need to go around a corner and shoot them. And if nothing has any judgment counters unless I see them, then I don't get judgment counters, and then I don't do my thing.
Yeah. The other issue I see with rolling for your judgment tokens is you have to roll for your judgment tokens. And it's like a fundamental army ability that you don't know if it's going to happen or not.
Yeah.
Right now, there's probably a little too much predictability, but I like that you can plan for it. So I'm more of a proponent of toning down what they do rather than toning down when you know you can get them.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think if they just weren't 6s to wound, it would be strong but not broken.
That would almost fix everything, to be honest, yeah.
But I think as it being an unmodified 6 to wound, that's broken. There's too many things in the book that are like, if you roll a 6 to wound, win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's too good.
Thanks, John McCardo. John says, problem with this army fundamentally is that you can make several mistakes and still win handily.
Do you feel called out?
Well, hey, I mean, we've seen that before, and those army got fixed. So, like, I don't feel terrible about this. I'm excited to see where this will end up in 6 months.
Yeah, I know they'll sort it out. Obviously, it would be nice if it was all good to go from the launch, but, you know, we'll all be laughing about this in 6 months, everybody.
Thanks, Bryce. We know this guy.
Hey, what is Bryce?
With rules like Votann, if 10th edition rolls around, I kind of expect damage to roll over like it does in AOS. I think Votann would have a hard time with armies like Necrons.
I don't know if we'll see that, to be honest. It's too fundamental of a change.
Yeah, I almost would not. I like that in AOS, but I almost don't want that in... That's like one of those things of like, I enjoy that difference.
Yeah, it's a difference, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say one's better than the other. It's just...
But I wouldn't mind seeing more weapons that maybe do it.
Right.
Like nasty, weird flamers, stuff like that. Like stuff where it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I like that, like, this gun is efficient at doing this thing to, like, that feels more sci-fi specialized.
Yes.
Whereas, like, AOS, it's like, cool, we're just smashing into each other, and there's, like, hammers and knives and swords going everywhere. Or the missile weapon is, like the Bone Reaper one, right? They just launch a giant pile of skulls into you. Like, it should roll over, right?
Totally.
Necrons, what do you think?
I think that's an interesting matchup because they're both so good at killing each other and shooting. I think Votann will win out because they're cheaper. That they both can obliterate each other.
Right.
But Votann just has more units to play with.
This is why I think Tau, though, would be a good matchup, because they have a lot of cheap units.
There's so much to try.
Yeah.
I want to play against them. I want to see.
You can do that
cool army.
at 600.
Yeah, I know.
I want all the new units. I want all the stuff we don't have. And I want a ton of it. I want, like, 3 land fortresses. I want 6 of the little buggy.
Yeah.
I want 30 berserkers. I want 30 terminators. I want it all. GW, can you just send us a full line? Also have it already painted. Thank you.
Yep, that'd be great.
That would be
I would really appreciate
excellent.
that last part.
Thanks again, John McCardo.
What up, John?
I would love to have sat in the devout meeting for this codex to see what they thought was too bat stuff crazy to put in this book. We appreciate the
bat stuff.
The bat stuff phrasing there, John.
Look, John, there were times where it's clear they had restraint.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, right. What was it? I forgot.
There's a couple of things that are 6s to hit instead of 6s to wound.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a relic mass hammer that doesn't have the -1 to hit, and if you roll 6 to hit, it goes straight to mortals. 3 plus D3 mortals. But it's 6 to hit, not 6 to wound. And
restraint.
That showed a lot of restraint.
I
Because
bet
that could have been 6s to wound like everything else.
I bet they wanted to.
I'm sure they did it, and one guy played a single game with it. They were like, "Oh no, this guy kills everything instantly. We can't do that."
Oh man,
This 100-point character is actually invincible and kills everything he touches every time.
God, it's so crazy. And I'm curious about the secondaries because the secondaries do feel like they were designed before Nephilim.
Yes.
Kind of as we mentioned. I'm curious to see if they adjust that.
Isn't there a few things that have made us today be like, when was this book written?
Right, yeah.
It's come up a few times we've talked about,
Well, the prospecting one, that secondary,
that's the one I'm thinking
is
of.
a clear sign of like, this is pre-Nephilim. This is impossible. Like, it's so hard.
Because you can't do it if there's enemies on the point.
And it's...
Which almost got fully removed in Nephilim.
It's still only 3 points per no man's land objective. It's like, you have to work so hard. You have to do an action with no enemies in no man's land for 3 points. And maybe, hey, if you're lucky and you roll a 5-0, you get 3 more points.
I wish you could have seen Zach's face when John told him that he got 11 points with Sisters from one secondary in one turn. He's like, oh, and that's going to be 11 points on Sacred Ground? And Zach was just like, ha ha ha. Wait, are you messing with me? Like,
are you serious?
He like really wasn't sure. And then I really wasn't sure. And then chat was like, no, it's real. It was good.
Thank you again, Goose.
What up, Goose?
Is this the first book of 10th edition and I just don't know it? Or we just don't know it, is really what Goose is asking.
I don't know. I think it's confused for all the reasons we're saying right now, right? It doesn't quite match up with the recent books that we've seen, with CSM, Demons, frankly. I'll be curious to see what Guard looks like.
They also wanted to make a book that's a totally new thing.
Right.
Has a play style somewhere in between Necrons and Tau.
Yeah.
And at
actually.
the same, which is like kind of a small little bit of design space.
Right.
So you had to come up with weird, crazy guns and weird, crazy rules, and also get away from the Imperium, but also kind of have the feel of the Imperium. Like, I think that probably caused a lot of what makes it feel weird. I don't think I wouldn't look at this and be like, oh, a new edition.
No.
Like Bryce suggesting and stuff. Like I don't see anything here that's like, oh, that's coming to 10th ed. That's coming.
Doesn't
to
feel
10th.
like
It feels like a step back rather than a step forward.
Agreed.
Back into 9th.
Step back further into
Right.
9th.
Yeah.
Of like,
it's a weird pocket dimension.
If we took the idea that we think historically 6th, 8th, like this 10th edition will be like toning down in complexity, then CSM felt like a step into
forward.
it.
Yeah.
A step into
CSM
that.
was like, okay,
right.
this is, I think the Guard book will be a breath of fresh air after some of the craziness that's here. That's my prediction. So I'm curious to see. So,
We did it.
it's been a lovely day. Happy Dwarf Day, Bridger.
Happy Dwarf Day,
Woo!
Bridger.
Dude,
Yeah.
I got like a 3rd birthday in 2 months.
I know.
I get so many birthdays.
Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Of course, there's going to be lots more coming up. We are not going to be doing the dwarfs for a little bit probably again because it's kind of we have one box.
Too small.
But we do have 2 more boxes on order, so we'll get those together ASAP as possible, as Zach would say. And next week we return to the T6, the Tabletop Titans tournament, the 3rd. We've got round 1 finishing up throughout the week. Then we progress to round 2. It's going to be a ton of fun, so do join us for that. Wednesday on Hobby Titans, I'll be hanging out with Kat. We're doing some fun stuff, so check us out there. Check us out on Magic Titans, our new channel. We're working feverishly for some stuff on that. So much good and exciting stuff, and honestly, you guys have made today enjoyable, chatting, hanging out, and just kind of exploring this new book with us. And that's why we thought it would be a good opportunity to do something a bit different, do some mini games, do a bit of a book review, and kind of dig into it with you guys. So thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you all next time on the tabletop. Bye.
Bye.